Welcome to the South Ops Fire Weather Webcast for Wednesday, January 15th. I'm your host, Kristen Stewart. Clear skies continue to dominate across California as high pressure and Santa Ana winds remain in place. Expect today to be full of sunshine across the board with comfortable temperatures, except with continued breezy winds throughout the Southland. Today will be the final day of our long-duration Santa Ana wind event before a much-needed break for several days. The current wind observations this morning indicate widespread east to northeast winds gusting 25 to 45 miles an hour across the typical wind-prone areas of Southern California. A few of the favored ridges and canyons are gusting near to above 50 miles an hour. Winds will be at their peak throughout the morning, then will slowly subside through the day. Winds will remain quite breezy, especially in the higher terrain through this afternoon, keeping critical fire weather conditions in play throughout most of the day. As we have been talking about for quite a while now, very dry conditions will continue to dominate the region, with little to no change from earlier this week. Humidity will remain very low today, with minimums continuing to range in the upper single digits and teens. Luckily, today will be the driest day through this weekend, and we will see vast improvements in humidity, especially by Friday. Overnight recoveries will once again be very poor to non-existent across the higher terrain tonight, but a bit less widespread than previous nights. As a result of the seemingly never-ending Santa Ana winds and critically dry conditions, red flag warnings remain in effect for the majority of Southern California through this evening. With the continued breeziness expected through Thursday morning, red flag warnings for the Santa Susana Mountains, western San Gabriel Mountains, and the Interstate 5 corridor have been extended through 3 p.m. Thursday. Quite an interesting water vapor satellite picture this morning, as you see a large and in-charge ridge of high pressure draped over the west coast and a tiny weak area of low pressure cut off from the main flow pattern directly south of it. This pattern will be more progressive than typical, with the cutoff low expected to drift back towards the Southern California and northern Baja coast Thursday and Friday, bringing some much-needed relief to the region. As a result, our Santa Ana winds will finally shut off tomorrow, and we will be in for a brief pattern change back to onshore flow and increased humidity. Even though we are still not expecting any rain for the region, the increasing humidity and decreasing wind will give everyone a temporary breather before the potential for more offshore winds may arrive next week. The weather pattern will finally begin to transition on Thursday as we get out of a critically dry Santa Ana wind pattern and switch back to an onshore wind pattern. As is typical after the conclusion of a Santa Ana wind event, light offshore winds will continue on Thursday morning, mostly isolated to the wind-prone ridges and canyons. The sea breeze will very likely make its return to the coastal plains by the afternoon. In response to the wind shift, humidity across the coastal plains will increase a little. It will still remain very dry in the higher terrain and across the interior, however. Though with the reduction in wind, no widespread critical fire weather issues are expected. High temperatures south and west of the coastal slopes will remain very comfortable today and Thursday, ranging in the mid to upper 60s. Some of the warmer coastal valley locales may even reach the low 70s. For the high desert and Central Valley, it will be a bit cooler in the upper 50s to low 60s, though it will feel much more bearable with less wind. By the end of the week, that cutoff low I was talking about will move inland over Southern California and northern Baja, bringing a welcome change to our weather. Friday and Saturday will see a shift to onshore flow, several degrees of cooling, and a large increase in humidity. Marine layer low clouds are also likely to make a return for the coastal plains. Check out these forecast minimum humidity values for Saturday, a dramatic change for the better after the last couple weeks of critically dry conditions. Fire weather issues will be significantly alleviated for a few days. Light drizzle will be possible for the coastal plains and adjacent foothills with the deeper marine layer, but no widespread rainfall is expected for the region. With the switch to onshore flow, alongside a switch in the weather pattern, temperatures will cool down quite a bit for the coastal areas for Friday through the weekend. High temperatures will fall into the upper 50s for the coastal areas, with even the warmer spots struggling to reach 60. Heading into next week, model projections remain in disagreement regarding the weather pattern. Most indications suggest the potential for another inside slider to move into the Great Basin and Desert Southwest Sunday into early next week, but confidence is low in how the pattern will evolve. This type of pattern would suggest additional Santa Ana winds in the Monday through Wednesday timeframe, but there's uncertainty in the strength as well as timing. As a result, not much detail can be expressed for the forecast for next week, but there is a good chance of additional rounds of offshore winds. Regardless, there is a high confidence in dry weather continuing and no rain in sight. The large fire potential will lower into more elevated levels today, away from the high levels we experienced last week into early this week. This is all thanks to the gradual weakening of Santa Ana winds. Conditions will begin to improve substantially on Thursday, and even more on Friday thanks to the pattern change to onshore flow. Of course, this relief will only be temporary, considering there is no rain in the forecast and more offshore winds are likely coming. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Our next webcast will be on Thursday, January 16th. Have a fantastic day and please stay safe.